Probably one of the hardest things to manage about ourselves when we're trying to recover from finding out about an affair is figuring out what to do with all these emotions we are struggling with. And that's a big job, especially when you're already emotionally exhausted from finding out about your husband's affair. Now you're having to figure out what to do with all of these feelings. It's definitely challenging. So let's take some time and talk about how we actually can manage our emotions. You know, I can remember having days after I found out about the affair where I think I probably felt every emotion in the book in a span of hours. I was so tired all the time from all the feelings. And I wish I could sit here and tell you that I was so great and processed my emotions in such a mature way and never did anything inappropriate or hurtful to our marriage because of the way I was feeling in the moment. Now, I can't say that at all. I have regrets. I have regrets for the way I lashed out at my husband inappropriately. I have ways that regrets that I said things and did things that I shouldn't have done, all based on how I was feeling in that very second. We can do something about what we do with our emotions. You know, we can't help our emotions, right? Our feelings are our feelings. They happen. It's our brain's way of helping us understand what's happening in that moment. For instance, if there's a reason to be fearful, your brain's going to trigger fear to help you become safe. If there's something sad, your brain is actually processing that moment, putting it in your long-term memory. Yay, right? So you can access a sad moment. But it's just kind of the way our brain works. So feelings are feelings. Don't feel bad that you feel the way you feel. It's just the way you feel. And don't let anyone else tell you you shouldn't feel a certain way. That's not their place. Your feelings are your feelings. That should be a very firm boundary for you right now, is that you allow yourself to feel what you feel and don't let other people tell you otherwise. But one thing we do have power and control over when it comes to our feelings is what we do with them. It's very tempting to take feelings such as anger and hurt and use them as weapons against our spouse. I think there's a part of all of us that feels like they deserve our wrath. Yes? And for some of us, we've already given them our wrath. Believe me, I delivered a lot of wrath. So I understand the need and desire, and they do need to know we're sad, they need to know we're hurt, and they do need to know we're angry. But when we turn that emotion into something that's hurtful to them on purpose, then we're just being mean. And it serves no purpose in the world when it comes to rebuilding our marriage. It's certainly not going to help rebuild the marriage. If anything, it's going to harm the marriage. So here are some ways that we can manage what we're feeling in the moment to make sure that we're using our responses in a way that's helpful to the marriage and not hurtful. Let's start with anger. Anger itself is not really a deep emotion. It's actually a surface level emotion, and it's made up of other components, such as fear, such as frustration, and such as hurt. When those three combine together, that's when we begin to feel angry. We call it anger. And the importance of understanding that is when you feel what you would call angry, ask yourself what the real emotion is you're feeling. Are you feeling hurt? Are you feeling frustrated? Are you feeling fearful, or all three? What is really going on? A lot of times our anger is something else. Have you ever had a situation where someone lashes out at you and they make it all about you, but you find out later it had nothing to do with you? Anger. That's what anger, you have to be so careful about that. You may feel anger and choose to direct it at your spouse, and your spouse has absolutely nothing to do with it. For instance, I was very angry with myself for a long time. I felt stupid. How did I not see this coming? How did I not know? I should have done things differently. I was kicking myself constantly and angry at myself for not doing things differently. So a lot of our anger sometimes just comes from the fact we're mad at ourselves. So it's really not fair in that case, especially to lash out at anyone else, especially our spouse, when it's really ourselves we're mad at. So when you start to feel anger bubbling up, take a minute to really reflect. What am I mad at right now? What am I really angry at? And is this a conversation I need to have with someone because I'm angry? Or is this something I need to process myself and just move on? Because anger can be diffused. Anger can come and go. It's not going to stay with you forever. So think about that. What am I really angry at, and what's underneath it? Is it fear? Is it frustration? Or is it hurt? And once you identify those, actually, when you put a name to it, it's easier to process. In our situation, I'm going to pretty much say a lot of what you're feeling is really hurt. It's really hurt. And you're coming out angry. And I will also completely admit, and you probably would agree with me when I say this, that anger is comforting sometimes. Anger is a fuel. When you're angry, your body emits a bunch of stress hormones, which actually keep you going. When I say fuel, I mean that in a literal sense. If you are exhausted, emotionally exhausted, anger keeps you going. It keeps you from also feeling your deepest hurts. When you're angry, it suppresses the pain, right? It's almost a righteous anger to get you through your day. I completely understand how that would seem like a really great way to function. And it's okay on the short term. Just don't make it your long-term plan, because let me tell you, anger in the long term just damages your soul. It's not worth it. So examine your anger, frustration, fear, or hurt. What's really going on? Identify it, put a name to it, and focus on that thing. If you're frustrated, how can you combat that? How can you not be so frustrated? If you're hurt, what can you do to help heal the hurt? If you're fearful, how can you feel safe? So work on those things. There are physical ways to manage anger as well. You can go exercise. Let me tell you, physical activity is the number one thing. If you want to exercise, do that. And I've actually had clients who bought punching bags. And you laugh. I haven't. I will be honest. I've not done that. But I have exercised. I began running, actually, and it became kind of a therapy for me. So physical exercise is huge when diffusing your anger and anything underneath it that you identify. It can help in so many ways. So try to get as much physical activity as you possibly can. And talk to somebody. Do you have a friend? Do you have someone of the same gender? A friend or a family member you can lean on and talk to in this time? That can be really huge in helping diffuse whatever it is you're feeling in the moment. The key here, and the reason I'm sharing all of these tips and tools with you, is it's so easy for us to continue to damage our marriage, even when we're trying to fix it, because we can't manage our own emotions. And in reality, men are not very emotionally intelligent. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean that their vocabulary is not the same as ours. They process very differently than we do, and they don't know what to do with all of our emotions. So we have got to rein it in. We've got to figure out how to manage this for ourselves. It's okay to talk to them about it. It's okay to share with them, but don't make it their responsibility to manage your emotions. That's our job. We need to figure this out, and I promise you, this can probably become one of the best skills you've ever honed in your life, is figuring out how to manage what you're feeling. So I hope this has been helpful to you. I hope you've gotten a couple of great tools, and if you have, I invite you to join my Facebook group. I have the link below. I'd love to get to know you and what you're going through so I could best know how to support you. Also, I have a free guide I'd love to give you if you haven't gotten it already. The link is also below. It's also got some good tips, and I even talk about this in the guide in more detail for you. And if you're wondering if there's a way that I can walk this journey with you and help you, I am a master certified coach, and this is my specialty, working with women like us who've been through hell and how to get us through it. I want to be on that journey with you, and I'd love to see if there's a way I can help you. So if you want someone to work with you one-on-one to help you get through this, give me a call. There's a link down below for to schedule a call. It's absolutely free. I just want to see if I can help you, and if I don't think I'm the right person for the job, I'll make sure I'll be honest and let you know, okay? So until we meet again, I wish you all the best as you're working through your recovery process.